And good evening and welcome to the GameFace Footy Show, the Division 1 MPNFL GameFace Footy Show. Thanks to our sponsors, Jeff Wignall Ford, HP and CP Electrical, Growth Syndicates Australia, Frankston RSL and the Telstra Business Technology Centre. It's a great pleasure to be here. My name's Dan Lonigan. Wayne Cap, good evening to you.
Dan, how are you?
Going all right, thank you. And Chris Holcomb, welcome, Holks.
How are you, buddy?
Oh, I'm terrific, thanks, mate. Been a nice, quiet week and a big week of local footy in general. So we look forward to seeing what we talk about tonight, what the big issues are going to be, as this First Division competition is very tight. And later on, we look at an even tighter Second Division competition. Our guest tonight is one of the star recruits to the competition from the East Doncaster Football Club, or Doncaster East Football Club, in the very strong Eastern Football League. He's come down to play with Rosebud in the MPNFL this year, and they're 2 from 2, and he's one of the main reasons why they've started so well in Nick Batsanis. Nick, thanks so much for joining us. Good to have you with us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You enjoying it so far? It's a big travel. Richmond down to Rosebud to play footy.
It is. It's definitely enjoyable. Lucky enough to work just across the road here in Dandenong, so I sort of finished there on a Thursday, and it's only 30 minutes. But the travel, it's not too bad. It's only an hour there, an hour back home. So no one's on the pen link at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night on a Thursday, so you can fly home.
That's good. Well, within reason.
Yes.
So, why have you decided to come and play with Rosebud, of which we're delighted to have you down here in this competition?
Look, work commitments got a little bit full on. So Donny East going into Premier, they wanted to take a more professional stance in the way people trained and commitment to the footy club, which I respected and sort of told them that I wouldn't be able to train most Tuesdays. Spoke to, obviously, got a good mate in Jai Hardwick down at Rosebud. Then obviously Julesy got onto me, and they're sort of been accommodating with training and being flexible around not training Tuesday, being there Thursday. So that was probably one of the main reasons why coming down.
It's been a great start. I mean, the first week against Sorrento, the way you just dismantled Sorrento was a brilliant defensive and pressure performance. And then you were very good again on the weekend, so it's been a great start.
It has, yeah. Sitting 2 and zip, beating the Premier and the runners-up Premier. We're going okay. We sort of realise it's still very early days, so still a bit of work to do. But to be on top and 2 and zip, yeah, look, we're happy.
That's great. I ran into your coach a couple of weeks ago at the Mount Eliza Bombers game, and it wasn't a couple of days after you guys had knocked off Sorrento, and he was up and about.
Oh, you reckon?
Oh, yeah. And he's pretty...
Try and keep a lid on that bloke.
And I was asking him about you, and he was so full of praise, and he talked about your leadership in the middle and all that sort of stuff. You've come straight into that side, provided maturity and leadership that they probably not needed, but it's added to what they already had with a young list. They're now the list to me looks ready to go. It's obviously proven so far. You've beaten both last year, 2019 grand finalists. What do you think about the list at Rosebud so far, and the opposition that you've come up against?
The Rosebud's done a really good job at keeping their juniors coming through, and I think that's shown with 10 pairs of brothers. It also does help that they've got a few guns in that side too. So you got blokes like Sean Downey, who probably shouldn't be playing this standard of footy. He should probably be playing VFL and trying to achieve the ultimate in playing AFL. Obviously, it's a bit hard for him with work commitments and that, being a tradie. But generally speaking, we've got all those boys have a real crack. So that's the first thing I noticed, especially against Sorrento. It sort of blew me away a bit, just the way they attack the footy. Julesy always told me that the inside footy that they can play is really, really strong. Where they struggled was on the outside. So that was one of the reasons of trying to get me across. Mitchy Dempster, who played at Narry Warren, he's more of an outside running half back. He's just sort of find that balance a little bit better. I think that showed against Sorrento first game, where we beat them at the source early, but we were able to beat them on the outside too with some pace too. So look, Sorrento, they had their injuries in that, but I still think that if Sorrento put their best 22 out against our 22 that we played against them, we still would have probably got the job done. I think we played some pretty good footy that day. We started pretty slow against Germana on the weekend. I thought Germana had us a little bit with that high press that they play, and they have some super half backs and some blokes that can really use the footy well. But yeah, we just grinded it out. We weren't at our best on Saturday, I don't think. So it was good for the boys to grind it out and just keep that 3-4 goal buffer. Especially going into the last quarter. I think Germani kicked a few to close that gap, and the boys sort of fought hard with a few injuries, and we lost Sean with a hammy in the last quarter, and he was on fire that day. So we're going okay. The two teams we've faced are pretty good footy teams too. So we'll take confidence from that, and we'll just keep moving forward.
So we were talking about it before we jumped on the air, the rivalry between Sereno and Rosebud. I'll get you to talk about that in a second. Did you have anything back in the Eastern Footy League that rivaled a rivalry like Rosebud versus Sereno and the hatred that goes on in that thing?
No, nothing like that. No, that's. I remember speaking to my old man leading into that week, and I was like, "Dad, these guys hate Sereno." You don't realise EFL. There's no real rivalry. There's nothing real because everything's so close.
Yeah.
And there's so many different teams in different suburbs. A lot of blokes know each other. It's very hard to build that sort of rivalry. Nothing like up here. Like even Germana, like Joe. I remember Joe Hardwick saying, "Mate, there's no Malays in Mornington Peninsula League," and then on Saturday it was probably one of the biggest ones I've been involved in.
Maybe he's trying to give you a false sense of security. You seem really, really fit. I mean, the 6 goals in the last quarter win by 28 points. That's something you've obviously prided yourselves on over the off-season.
Yeah, Julesy had us running a fair bit over pre-season, and it got to the point where I think we were playing sort of 15 to 20-minute quarters of scratch matches there for a good 3-4 weeks leading into practice. So we've got a real good fitness base. Obviously, the boys in the middle, they're super fit. Like Fletcher's running 13, 14 Ks a game. So like it's some serious Ks.
And that's what we thought about. Sorry, Dan. That's what we thought about at the start of the year, because we saw him in a couple of practice games, and such a heavy-built side and a strong side. You thought that on the bigger grounds you're not going to be able to cover it as maybe some of the others, but that's just been put to bed the first 2 weeks. Germana are one of the best outside sides going around, and no problems with Sereno either. So covering the ground, unbelievable.
And the Olympic Park's a huge ground too.
Yeah, it is.
So
too
you
too big.
It's too big. It'd be right for you.
It's
too big.
It's one of the biggest grounds I've played on.
Yeah,
You can get lost out there.
So you got to make sure you can play that one all right.
Yeah, we've got a good even spread. So we've got that balance now where if we play those heavier sides, we can probably go 2 insides with 1 outside. Whereas Germana, we probably went 2 outsides with 1 inside. So they've got that depth in the midfield, which they probably never had. They probably just had that Sean, Fletch, Hardwick, and Bentley mix, and that's pretty much it. But now we sort of got the Nanscowan brothers running through there too. Gives it another look. We've got good wingers.
Speaking of
the old man went all right, didn't he?
I was just going to say.
Yeah, the
Bentley.
old fella.
Yeah, he had a good
forward.
game.
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
Winding back the clock.
19 possessions, and I was having a look. 94% efficiency is not bad for your day's work.
He's bagged 4 goals.
Yeah. So
Well, you had a good day, Nick. I mean, 21 disposals after 30 in the opening game of the season, 4 goals, 80% efficiency for 114 ranking points. What's your role likely to be? Is it to be more midfield or spending a fair bit of time up forward?
Predominantly midfield with sort of the pinch hit forward, but I'd like to stay around the footy as long as possible.
You wouldn't mind a rest, though, under the Baker boys.
Yeah.
They bring the ball to ground.
They are, aren't they?
Oh, they're big units. They are monsters.
That's the thing. But I think Tommy and Matty haven't kicked that many goals between them.
No.
Most of our goals has come from coming forward and forward pressure that they're providing with those big hits. And, geez, good luck standing in front of one of those boys too.
They bring 2 or 3 to the contest because they have to bring them 2. And then the ball comes to ground.
Yeah.
And
You don't realise just what it's worth to have those boys up there.
Oh, 100%.
They're not kicking goals, we know that, but they are providing just that contest where once the ball spills, we've got enough pace, we've got enough good forwards there to sort of crumb and kick goals around. So
Definitely.
Well, you've only considered 11 goals in 2 games, and I mean, it's an unsung defence. Jari Kennedy and McRae, very good in the first couple of weeks, and then, of course, Reed Nanscowan has been mopping up off half-back. And
Seb Crummage.
Seb Crummage, another one. So they're all just doing the job, aren't they?
that's it. Yeah, everyone's playing their role really well at the moment. That's all, and that's what we're asking for. I think Julesy said out at the start of the year that, you know what, we've probably got blokes in there that can get 30 and kick 4, but we're not about that. We're just about blokes that, just roll up to the game, play their role, do their part, and we get the biscuits and we walk out of there.
Well, let's look at some match highlights, and particularly the match highlight of the BB from the centre circle, the Batsanis bomb from the centre circle. It was the longest goal in the history of the MPNFL.
Oh, that's a big stretch down.
One of the 4 goals.
Surely Hawks has kicked one along.
Here it is.
Let's
have a look at it. In the centre of the ground. Look at it. Going, gone.
No
What
win
did you think when you kicked it, Nick?
No win there either.
No win at all?
Where is he?
Here he is. He's in the centre. Have a look at
that.
that.
Was right outside
That is
the
amazing.
circle.
Yeah.
What were you thinking when you kicked it?
Get it
I
forward.
just wanted to clear it, tell
Yeah.
the truth. I just
Really?
hit it. I hit it sweet. It just came out so nicely. Just kept sailing, and lucky enough, the boys were sort of playing a little bit higher than normal, and it just trickled out the back and went through. So
Like a four-iron.
It was a pretty lucky bounce too. It was going sort of in the middle of the point post, and then it sort of broke right, so it was okay.
Mate, you've got to claim it
I
better
will.
than
Oh,
that.
absolutely.
Warwick
Yeah.
Miller would have said he meant it.
Yeah, you would have.
Like everyone knows me pretty well, I can't kick the ball that far. So
Thanks to HP and CP Electrical Australia for our highlights. Now, we mentioned Sam Gertz, Cappy, Billy Quigley and Dean Waugh all had over 30 touches, but did they leave it up? It seemed they left it up to too few to try and win the game
Dan.
for them, which isn't normally like Dramana, is it?
Dan, I looked at the stats, right?
Yep.
Dramana won 67 plus possessions, right?
Tick,
35
Really?
plus marks,
tick,
12 plus clearances,
tick.
and 8 more inside 50s, and lost by, what was it, 5 goals.
Yeah.
Like, that's just amazing statistics.
There was.
So inefficiency and wastefulness, was it, Cappy?
Yeah. Well, obviously they're not using the ball well. They're getting their hands on the ball. They're putting themselves in the right spot. But you know, I read that as when they got the ball, the pressure was on them by Rosebud. They were enforced the turnovers. Rosebud more efficient with the ball when they get it. Quick entries into their 50 and goals.
Anyone who's going to play Rosebud this year is going to be under the pump.
Yep.
So you're going to have to make sure that your disposal is either quick or very, very efficient.
Well, you're going to know there's someone's going to be on your hammer,
that's
and if you've got a second thought in your mind, you're probably going to get crunched.
What are you thinking about Dramana after 2 rounds?
They've played 2 very good teams, so I reckon Red Hill and Rosebud will be, featuring.
I think they've
in
got a
front.
tough one this week as well. I reckon
yeah.
they've got... they haven't got Bomb Beach at Bomb Beach, have they?
No, I'm not sure. But anyway, Dramana, on that question, Dan, Dramana haven't...
Yeah, they
haven't got
do.
much of
They
Bombay,
do.
no.
well, there you go.
Yeah.
They could be 3 and zip, which is a bit unfortunate to them, but
They're not a bad side.
They are a good side,
Yeah.
and they've played 2 very good sides. But that's how this competition is. There's good teams everywhere. You've got to be at your best every week to get the points, and anything can happen.
That's why we love it. Now, looking at the most valuable team
Is this
for
Cappy's
Jeff Wignall
most-
forward,
is this Cappy's
the rolling most valuable team. 4 Dramana players in this week's side, but they're yet to win a game. The backline, Jari Kennedy of Rosebud, Ryan Marks Logan of Frankston Bombers, and Blaine Coates of the Bond Beach Sharks. A half-back line, Billy Quigley, Dramana, Jonas Siverson, Red Hill, and Lachlan Wallace of YCW. On the wings, Dean Wallace of Dramana, Bailey Breen of Mount Eliza, Billy Gertz in the ruck, Sam Gertz, ruck rover, both of Dramana, Blake Mullane in the centre, Nick Batsanis, our guest tonight, the rover. Shane McDonald at half forward for Bond Beach. Corey Buchan had a great day
7
despite
goals.
a family tragedy the week before, and what a wonderful effort that was by him for Frankston Bombers. We'll talk about that shortly. Sean Downey of Rosebud, who's now got a hamstring injury, so is out for a little while, but he's at half forward. The forward line, Shannon Gladman of Sorrento, Trent Dennis Lane, 13 goals in 2 matches so far for Bond Beach, and John O'Rice had a good day on the weekend for Red Hill. Happy with that team, Cappy?
Yeah, it's good. It's really hard. You go through this... Oh, shaking.
Chris, are you happy with that team or not?
Not at all. You didn't even get to the interchange bench where he's got another 2 ruckmen, Harry Pryor from Bombers, Lewis Pearce from Mount Eliza, Armitage from Bomb Beach. Oh, you just snuck him in with 39, mate. That's all right. He couldn't
It's
get
pretty
on the
hard to
ground.
get in with... Yeah,
He couldn't get on the ground. He wanted
And Hallahan.
He didn't.
Okay.
He's got to kick 4 goals, get in front of my
and
man.
Mitch Hallahan
Marsalis.
on the bench as well.
Yes, I had Mitch Hallahan on the bench.
Sheepers. All right, fair enough.
That's not a bad team. I wouldn't mind seeing that run out with representing the MPNFL one
I
day.
wouldn't take 3 ruckmen in with me. Too slow, mate. Don't cover the ground properly.
Richmond won a premiership with 4 ruckmen back in 1973. Another game was a bit
Mate,
different.
I wasn't even alive. Was it black and white?
No,
It
that's
is
even-
black and white, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was alive. I was 4.
Oh, yeah, footy's
so
exactly
old I
the
am.
same now.
No,
Footy-
it's not exactly the
Oh, it's
same. But they had
exactly
4
the same.
premierships in.
And what were the
4
ruckmen, 5'11"?
No.
They would have been too.
No, they had the whale. The whale was 6'6" and about 125 kilos. They had the redhead Craig McKellar, who was his close drinking mate, who was on the bench. They had Michael Green in a forward pocket. And they had Neil Balm, who could play ruck. He's probably more full forward, who also was pretty strong when it came to the physical stuff, as we know, when he broke Jeff Southby's jaw.
And where did he like an ale, Dan?
Brian the Whale
Balme.
Roberts.
Neil
Oh,
Balme.
well, he liked an ale with the whale
Okay.
at the Duke of Wellington in Flinders Street in the city of Melbourne.
Jeez,
But that
you
was a
got
long, long
You
time
got
ago.
Just,
some rubbish information
I
still
do,
in that
I
head.
do,
It's
yes,
just
sir.
not right.
By the way, where are my car keys? I don't know where my car keys are. Hobbs.
Right, let's
They're in
get
the
this
other
back
room,
on
aren't
track,
they?
boys.
Yep, okay. Sorry, Cabby.
Right.
Sorry, mate.
Billy Gertz
Yeah,
in the ruck in my most valuable team.
yeah.
How's he going for a year so far? On Saturday, he had 27 possessions at 80%, 33 hit-outs, and if he's got to be close to be picking up 6 votes so far
That
from
was
the umps.
that was against the big boys too.
Yeah.
'Cause I
He
don't
must
think-
be close to being considered for Collingwood again.
Well, if he doesn't go to too many more parties, I think he'll be right. No, he'll be right. He's a good player, and he's only young too.
He is.
Ruckman take a little bit of time, and he's a big unit. But we know how good a player he is.
But there's a plethora of midfielders in this competition. That's so hard to get them all in.
Well, that's right.
The class of player in this competition is amazing at the moment. Like Nick coming in, the boys at Bomb Beach, Armitage, etc. It's just it's hard to fit such good players into this competition.
Well, they haven't got Gilbert playing yet.
Yeah, he did.
Bomb
He
Beach.
played on the
Oh, he
weekend.
played on the weekend.
He was great too.
He was good?
Yeah, very good.
Where did he play? Back?
On the wing.
Wing.
We
Gee.
started on the wing.
Very handy to have him on the wing with his height.
Yeah. I suppose we'll talk about that game. in a
Yeah,
minute,
very
but-
shortly.
They couldn't even get in the team, mate. They
That's
couldn't
right.
have been that good.
Well, it was hard to knock Bailey Breen and Dean Moore out, to be
Well,
honest.
they're in good form, aren't they?
It's your opinion, Cappy.
Yeah,
Do you think he'll have Campbell Huswaite much, Nick?
I wouldn't say so. No. Skipper of Collingwood VFL.
Yes.
So, look, when we get him, we'll take him. But I'd say he's pretty high up in Collingwood's list of first pick. So, no.
It's great for him, isn't it?
He's
Great for the club.
Yeah, absolutely. He's the captain of VFL side at 20, 21 years old.
Yeah,
So
it's
that's
magnificent.
a credit to him. So he's a good kid. He's a good leader, and he's a quality player too.
Well, let's look at the draw. Mount Eliza and YCW play out a thrilling draw. An impressive final quarter defensive effort saw YCW complete a drawn match against the Redlegs, holding Mount Eliza to just 2 goals in the last. They trailed when Wayne Cap joined, and obviously he's a little bit of a good luck charm for his mighty Stonecats. The Redlegs led by around 4 goals at half-time. The Stonecats kicked 3 goals, 5 behinds in an inaccurate display in the final quarter, though, that resulted in a high-scoring 86-all draw. Matt Trout-Beck kicked 5 at the Stonecats. Blake Mullane had another outstanding game. 33 touches to be named best on ground. Sean Watson booted 3 and Lockie Williams had 21 touches and 5 inside 50s for the Redlegs. We thought they were good against the Frankston Bombers. In the article I've written for the Record this week, and this is what is the game day or GameFace game day record's going to be. It's got Anzac Day on the front, lest we forget a big weekend of Anzac Day football. Of course, we've got a game in second division, which we'll get to a little bit later, a standalone game. But in my article that I wrote, Chris, I said that Mount Eliza are now the real deal, considering they drew with Frankston YCW.
You don't have a ghostwriter, or you
No,
do
I
your
write
own
to
work?
myself. I do it myself. I think I'm good enough to do it myself.
Heavy editing required.
Absolutely
yeah,
heavy
look,
editing. Well, if I need a
100%.
ghostwriter, it's probably Reese.
100%. Cappy can probably tell us a little bit more, but Mount Eliza, ultra impressive. We said it last week after they beat Bombers because they're so highly rated, but now they've put it on a level where that wasn't a fluke. There wasn't one out of the box. He's got them up and going, which is fantastic. It's good for the competition because everyone likes to see Mount Eliza get beat when they get close to winning stuff. So that's always handy.
Well, they'd be wrapped with the start. They've played 2 teams that were at the start of the year, considered to be contenders, and they've dragged out 6 points out of that. So that's a great start to the season. Yeah, I rocked up at half time and saw the scoreboard as you're driving into Warella Drive, and thought, oh God, the Stonecats are in trouble here.
Did you do that because you didn't want to pay to get in?
No, I paid.
Okay.
Mate. I paid.
Fair enough. Thank
They don't miss you at Mount Eliza.
That's all right.
And then, so anyway, the third quarter, YCW came out. They put Lockie Wallace moved from halfback flank into the middle, and that seemed to be the catalyst of some real winning the clearances and some good entries in the forward line. Matty Troutbeck, the new recruit, kicked 5 goals, really good. Josh Butland performed well, brought the ball down to ground.
Yes.
And Kyle Hutchison played forward a bit, and he was able to get plenty of it kicked.
What about LaFontaine? Where did he play?
No, he didn't play.
Right.
Credlin and LaFontaine were notable outs for YC, which, hurts a bit because they're two of their really good, or two of their leadership group, two of their really good players. So, but everyone has outs, so, I don't think anyone's looking for excuses. In the last quarter, it was a thriller. It was a fantastic game to watch. The crowd, another big crowd there. The crowds at the footy has been amazing this year. The Stone Cats fought back. With about 5 minutes to go, Mount Eliza was 7 points up. Managed to get it to even. Blake Malone had the ball in the forward pocket and tried to screw one through and hit the belly of the footy. The football was sailed out of bounds. And
looking at the highlights at the moment here, this is the last minute of the game. And, of course, all players just throwing themselves in, with scores level right in front of the social club rooms. And they're all milling around the contest. Pearce looking to win it down.
Oh, you can't help yourself, Dan, can you?
No. I'm just describing the action.
You're all over it.
Both teams obviously look a bit tired now, but they seem to get one more breakaway inside 50 YCW, and then, of course, the siren sounds.
Well, you didn't show Malone kicking it.
No, it's obviously flat at the end, but you saw the second half. If there was a winner and a draw, and generally they say one team won and one team lost, even though you only get 2 points each. Was there a winner in this game?
Probably. I think. Look, I don't
ask him, because he's always going to go that.
No. I think Mount Eliza are the winner here because of they would have gone in that game as an underdog.
Yep.
YC probably, and I think should have been expecting to win that game. And come the end of the year, all these points, 2 points, 4 points are going to be so important and percentage. YC, I think YC will be kicking themselves that they didn't win that game, and I think Mount Eliza are going to be pretty happy where they are.
Yes, it's a good start to the season for Mount Eliza. I think they've surprised a lot of teams. And while we're expecting YCW, no doubt, Nick, you'll be looking forward to playing those two teams. And as you say, you probably get to use a saying in footy I don't like much, you probably get a good idea as to where you're at when you play those two teams a little bit later on.
Absolutely. We know where Rosebud are at, mate. Don't worry.
We know where they're at. They're going beautifully. Premiership contenders. Talking of premiership contenders, Bond Beach stamped their authority over the league with a win over Red Hill. They kicked the first 6 goals in the first quarter before a Red Hill flurry of goals into the second quarter gave them temporary ascendancy. However, once the Sharks regained the lead, they never gave it away, and they had a 28-point win, 14-9, 93 to 9-11, 65. The two spearheads had a shootout. Jono Ross and Trent Dennis-Lane kicked 6 goals each. TDL finishing though with a higher ranking thanks to Premier Data, 129 to 112. David Armitage, the former Saint, 169 games, a best and fairest at the Saints as well, at 38 touches, 10 clearances for 166 ranking points. What a day. While Jonas Siverson solid in defence for the Hillman, 4 rebound 50s. Bond Beach, boys, the team to beat in Division 1, question mark.
Oh, I said last week to Red Hill, put your big boy pants on because you're about to play a real Division 1 side. And they did on the weekend. They were probably lucky to get that close, I would think, because they come out of the blocks hard, Bond Beach. They're a very, very good side, even spread. Armitage in the middle, he's still a gun. He is an absolute gun.
And it means they can play McDonald forward, can't they?
Well, he can just run around and do whatever he wants. Which they went to hard tag with McDonald by your reports, and that will leave Armitage.
I went and watched the first half, and it was great football. It was some of the best footy I've seen in this competition, to be honest. The skills were high. The delivery into the forwards, Trent Dennis-Lane had to fall over to miss some of those marks. It was just hitting him on the chest. So Bond Beach, they flew at the start, and they were just their clearances from stoppages were amazing. The space they made for their forwards was great. If you're playing Bond Beach, you've got to work hard and make sure you cover all those mids because they are workhorses. They push both ways, and they push into open space and make themselves available to kick a goal or be an option. Right. And McDonald was really good early. We mentioned him. He was really important and kick-started the onslaught early. Credit to Red Hill.
Yeah.
6 goals down and really
It could have been blown away.
Momentum was like a steam train going down Bombeach's end. And they turned it around and kicked swagger goals and ended up hitting the lead in the second quarter. And, there's a real impressive player called John O. Ross who just grabs opportunities. He just needs the footy in his area and he makes something of nothing. And I was really impressed with the way he played. The midfield were able to turn it round. Red Hill midfield were able to turn it round against Bombeach early in that match that I only saw the first half. But the main thing for me out of that is that Bombeach are going to be a hard-to-beat team this year. Their skills and delivery by foot is spot on, as good as I've seen. And you've got to make sure that, you cover one player. Red Hill went to McDonald, fair enough. Most clubs do. But now you've got Armitage and they had...
Gilbert, Gent, Corrigan.
Gent was amazing.
Yes.
In the midfield. They've got Luke Verma still sitting on the bench to come in.
When you have a midfield like that, do you tag two?
No.
You only tag the one.
You've got to...
Or you put a hard tag on one and a soft tag on another.
The problem is you've got to work out
Yeah.
All right, we're tagging McDonald, for example, but Armitage is getting 38. Well, we can't just let that happen, surely. But, then you take that off and you've got Gent, or you've got... It's a hard thing to do. I had them clean me up in a final with McDonald kicking 5 goals in a quarter once. So they're a good outfit. Their delivery's amazing, and that standard of football was really high by both teams. And I think credit to Red Hill. They've proven to me that they're going to be another one of the teams that's going to be fighting it out.
Yeah, well, I had Red Hill at 5 at the start of the year.
Yeah.
And they've done nothing to think that they're not going to be around that 5th mark. 100%. They can play with the big boys. They've had their first win against Dramana. They'll be thereabouts. It was a fantastic job to get there, and now they know what Division 1 footy is about. Dramana lost 2 or 3 early games in Div 1 when they first come up.
Oh, they did.
Then they got on a roll later on in the season, so maybe Red Hill will do it, but they're a good footy side.
Certainly a long way to go now. Guests, Nick Batsanis joining us tonight for the Division 1 Footy Show, the star Rosebud recruit, thanks to Growth Syndicates Australia. Around the grounds, 2 injured sides in Pines and Sorrento. Gentlemen played out an enthralling contest. Both teams were undermanned, but the Sharks kicked 5 of the last 7 to win the match by 5 points. I told you Pines were a chance. I did pick them. They didn't quite win, but I'm still going to take half a point here.
So you were wrong.
Well, I was wrong.
Yeah, you were wrong.
I was wrong, but you said that Sorrento win by 10 goals, so you were wrong too.
Oh, we laughed at you.
Yeah. What? That I picked them.
Yeah.
And they almost won.
I know.
Guy Hendry kicked 3, while Lockie Marshall had 28 for the Pythons. Shannon Gladman kicked 4 for Sorrento to be named one of the best. So that was a good performance in the end by Sorrento to fight away, but I dare say Pines would be quite happy with what they achieved in that game.
Of course they would.
Yeah, I think they would have. They would have gone into that game with a bit of confidence after we've said how many injuries they had. But if you have a look through that Sorrento side, this is the worrying part for me. Gladman, Hallahan, Burns, Corp, Paholke, Steinhardt, Marston, Bridge and Grant all still played. That's a really, really good side. And if you go through Pines' list, they're kids. You got a couple of Hendry boys. Boz is there, obviously playing fish in the back line. Apart from that, they're kids. So for Pines to dish up that against Sorrento in that, and they still have that cattle out on the park, that's a great effort from Pines. And Sorrento would have been very, very dirty if they had to drop that game.
Yeah, I couldn't be more impressed with what Pines did, to be honest. And for that reason, I was doing the same. I was looking through and it looked like there's some really big names in this competition there, the Hallahan boys, etc. And Pines with a team that got smashed the week before. And they're only kids, and they've got little experience there. And, they nearly pinched the game. And it was something that I reckon they've got a lot to work on there now. And they must be... have a bounce in their step now, and really looking forward to what's going to happen.
Well, Kyle Jacobson and Marshall were really good for him as well, both over 20 touches.
What are you expecting from Pines this week, Nick?
Don't know much about them, to tell the truth.
A lot of tattoos.
Are you
usually.
Is it at the snake pit?
Julesie's
It's at the snake pit.
Yeah, okay. Julesie's looking at the tapes. I'll let him do all that and let me know what we have to do on the Saturday. But I don't know. I know, obviously, they're young, they're quick. look, we'll just go to work and hopefully get the job done on Saturday.
Is that Pines?
I think so.
It is.
Take an Uber, or
Yeah.
take an Uber, or get a lift.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
Hubcaps won't be left back in the
Lock up
car.
your
Oh, very nice. It's not that bad. Very harsh. G'day, Jeff Svigos. The Bombers bounce back with a big win over Edithvale Aspendale, kicking 6 goals in the first quarter. Corey Buchan, after a tough week for him with his father tragically passing away, kicked 7 goals. He was terrific. Harry Pryor was dominant in the ruck and kicked 3 as well. He's having a great season so far, Harry. Steve Mannix was one of Eddie Asp's best players with 22 touches and 7 clearances. But a 58-point win, and the Bombers boys would be happy to get on the board and now have a big match this week.
Oh, they needed to kick up the arse after round 1. I don't think they expected that. And they would have been really disappointed. A little bit worried for Edithvale. I think looking through their side today and seeing what sort of players they've got through there could be a long year for them, I think. Great to see Bucks.
They don't have enough young players, do they?
No, they don't. Oh, they've got some good kids like Carlin. Mullen's not a kid anymore, but Martello. They've got some good kids, but I don't think they've got enough experience around them to really gel and really contest. Because, like we said, Div 1's a cracking comp. You can't be down. You can't even be switched off if you're a good side, or else you're going to get done. So to have that score against you, it's a little bit concerning. Good to see Tom Rourke back there, 28 touches as well. He was really good the week before as well. But yeah, as far as Frankston goes, Suts had an ordinary game first up. He had 31. Foxy had 24. Jared Grant had 21, which is good because he had a very ordinary game the week before. Mark Slogan we talked about, and it was good to see Drake, Amalfi and Harnett back in the side. They might have been a little bit...
Good player, Harnett.
Well, they might have been a little bit underdone as well because
Yeah.
they've missed a little bit of footy. But Harnett's one of the best midfielders in the comp.
How's Herituku going?
He kicked a couple on the weekend and had a few touches.
Hasn't quite got going yet, has he?
Well, neither have Bombers. Bombers had a bit on the weekend, but it takes a little bit, especially getting into a new side, unless you go into Rosebud and just torch it up like this man. But
Like shelling peas,
Eddie
my
Asper,
late Nana would say.
Eddie Asper also, I think they need to get a little bit more. I don't know, it's hard to say. I haven't seen him play yet, but Bussy and Meehan seem to be at a real quiet start. They must be, they're playing forward.
I reckon they're double teaming Bussy a lot, aren't they? That's
Well,
what I
maybe
hear.
there's not that great. They're not getting the opportunities down forward, and it's maybe time to see how to get them into the game because they're both really good footballers, and they seem to be relying on Mannix every week to do it, and he's doing a great job. But it might be time to sort of get those boys into the game.
Yeah.
2 really quiet weeks for the 2 exceptional footballers in Bussy and Meehan.
Yeah, very handy forwards.
With the Bombers, they get a real test this week.
They sure do. They sure do.
they're just warming up, mate. They're just warming up.
These are some of the highlights, thanks to HP and CP, as Corey Buchan, and fantastic performance from him after the death of his father.
Player, yeah.
You can't tell me that his father would have been on his mind. He would have been determined to play well, and he managed to kick 7 goals, and is a big focal point for them, and all the players that go around him, and going back to his mark now to have another shot at goal. So he's a huge part of what they do.
What haircuts are Bus running with these days? That's a disgrace.
Number 23.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got no
shocking.
idea. What with the
The blonde mohawk.
He's got the blonde
that's
mohawk.
rubbish,
He's a different
Bus.
cat, isn't he? Now, can I just say too, and I meant to mention it last week. I know Reece put it in the footy record, the GameFace footy record or game day. Congratulations to Edithvale Aspendale netballers for finally getting their netball courts. When you consider what they've had to deal with, play netball in all parts of Melbourne, host games away from Regent's Park for many years, and they keep winning flags. They are an unbelievable netball club. So well done to the girls for hosting netball last week at Regent's Park. Now, our match of the day this week on GameFace, and you sort of preempted it, Cappy. Head to Jubilee this week for the Frankston Derby and O'Brien Real Estate match of the day. It should be an absolute ripper between the Bombers and YSTW. And I'll use another phrase that I used before, the same phrase. Actually, we'll get a good idea where these teams But in the way they've started, I think there might be big things to come as the season progresses. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks
He's
for having
been
me.
good tonight, hasn't he?
He's been wonderful.
We might have to get him back on.
Yeah, we will. Nick Batsanis, our guest on the Division 1 Footy Show. Thanks to Growth Syndicates Australia. We thank Jeff Wignall Ford as well, Frankston RSL, O'Brien Real Estate, HP and CP Electrical, and also Telstra Business Technology Centre, South Melbourne. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Reece. Good on you, Cappy and Holtz. And our match of the day this week, thanks to O'Brien Real Estate, should be a cracker at John Coburn Oval at Jubilee Park, and that, of course, will be between Frankston YCW and Frankston Bombers. Back with Division 2 shortly. Get your game face on.